duds that didn't fire off, that maybe Iran wanted to fire more than the roughly 200?
As I mentioned, we're still assessing the outcome of the attack, and so we'll have much more information later. But these are all, our initial reports.
And then on the second call with the Secretary and Minister Gallant, did he urge Israel not to respond or to moderate any response to Iran, or did Gallant share any of Israeli intentions for their potential response here?
Well, again, as I'm sure you can appreciate, I'm just not going to be able to get into the details of their call, other than to say, again, we're consulting closely about next steps and the continued defense of Israel.
What does Secretary Austin think about the potential for an Israeli response here? Would he urge them, without saying what he said in the call necessarily, but what are his feelings about the potential? Would he urge them restraint, or?
Well, look, if you take a step back here, we fully support Israel's right to defend itself. You just saw a very significant ballistic missile attack by Iran against Israel, and so we'll continue to work alongside them to support their defense. We of course do not want to see a wider regional conflict. You've heard us say that many times, and we'll continue to work towards that end. But we also fully understand the fact that this was a significant attack by Iran, and so we're going to continue to consult closely, and we're going to continue to support their defense. Let me go to Laura.
Thank you. Just a couple of clarifications. Did you say that the U.S. destroyers had intercepted or shot down the missiles, or just that they fired?
I said that they fired approximately a dozen interceptors against the incoming Iranian missiles.
And were there any U.S. aircraft that shot interceptors at Iranian missiles?
What I've read out is what participated in the defense of Israel. Okay.
And then, sorry, just one more. Can you say if there were any drones or cruise missiles that were involved in the
again, still assessing it right now. It appears it was ballistic missiles, no drones, but again, we'll continue to assess. Let me go to Joseph, and then we'll come here.
Thank you. Just wanted to turn to the Israeli invasion in Lebanon. For the past couple months, the department and the secretary have called for de-escalation. You guys have voiced your opposition to any ground incursion, invasions, limited operations. After we found out that the Israeli strike last week killed the Hezbollah chief, Hassan Nasrallah, it seems like the tone changed. From the statements last night, the department and the secretary said they supported what Israel is doing. So what changed for a change in that tone and that stance from the department?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, Joseph, is we fully support Israel's right to defend itself against Hezbollah. As we understand it, they will be conducting limited operations to destroy Hezbollah infrastructure that's arrayed along the border there that could be used to threaten Israeli citizens. And so we're continuing to consult with the Israelis to better understand how they intend to go forward. Obviously, I'd refer you to them to talk or ask questions about details regarding those operations. But we fully understand as part of their overall efforts to return people home that they do need to address those threats that are along the border there. And so all that to say, we will continue to consult with the Israelis and other partners in the region long term about how we can ultimately de-escalate those tensions and get to a ceasefire.
Have they asked for any help from you guys doing whatever it is that they want to do?
No. Yes, sir.
Were the United States surprised by the scale of the Iranian attack on Israel?
Well, look, like I said before, we've been monitoring this for a while. Iran had been very public about its threats to retaliate, and so it's something that we've been monitoring. Certainly, this was a significant attack, probably about twice the size in terms of scope of what we saw earlier. But again, we're still assessing the outcomes of this, and as I highlighted at the top.
All right, here we go, the last 24 hours, my people. So for my people that are patriots here in America, right, I just want you to understand something. This is all a game. This is to get you to downsize each other. The species that is inorganic to the planet, that shares different DNA with other species on a planet in order to make one living organism. This whole proxy war is to get you all to downsize yourselves, to get you all to kill each other, because this is a complete race against the sun. So now let's just look at this. This is what this is all boiling down to. That had nothing to do about no Hezbollah, Israel, Iran, Israel, China, Taiwan. This don't got nothing to do with this. Got everything to do with what's taking place right here with the energies that are being emitted between the sun that's in the sky, our interactions with the dome that supposedly protects us from harmful solar radiation, planet Earth, and all living organisms here on planet Earth. This is what this got to do with right here, what you're looking at. So right off the bat, my people, just so that you know, Earth is in the middle. The white side is the daytime side. So the sun would be all the way over here, out here somewhere. That's where it'd be the sun at. This is the dome, the spaghetti strap. And as you can see, that double energy that is pressed against the dome, that is coming from the sun, that double energy that is pressed against the dome, overwhelming high levels of radiation. Then you got the nighttime side of the planet. Nighttime side, nothing's supposed to be over here. Everything as far as cosmic energy is supposed to be coming from this direction over here to this direction, from right to left. Nothing's supposed to be going from left to right. So something is back here that is emitting the same amount of energy or equally amount of energy that the sun is emitting to planet Earth. And if you look on this planet, hold on, let me just go back a little bit on this graph. Matter of fact, let me slow it down some. There we go. Let me slow it down some because I want to see this frame. There is a frame that I want to see as it's moving forward. And if y'all think, yeah, that right there. See, let me get back to that. Where was that at? Let me get back to that. There we go. Let me pause it too. Let me pause it. Let me see. There it is. This is what I wanted to see. I'll tell you why I wanted to see that. You see this right here? Like it's an object sitting there. Out of all the energy that has been spilling from the backside of the planet onto the planet, or from the front side of the planet to the planet, this right here is like a perfect circle that's sitting there at the south side of the planet. So I wanted to see that as just to show that to you. Look at that's like a perfect sphere. It's like something is sitting here that's enveloped with solar radiation. So I wanted to show y'all that. However, let me let this move. Anyway, you can see the purple. You can see the high levels of purple radiation. You can see this. This has nothing to do about democracy. This has nothing to do about the materialistic resources on the planet. The number one resource is the mind and the physical vessels of the mother of humanity and her star seeds, her sons, her creation. This is the number one resource. That's what they want, and that's what they're losing. And that there is a problem with that. So now we go up here to solar wind, right? Again, Earth is in the middle. The white side is the daytime side, the black is the nighttime side. So the sun is over here. This is where the sun is at. Nothing should be back here on the nighttime side of the planet that's emitting solar radiation at that. Now, there's something back there, fine, but it shouldn't be emitting solar radiation on the back side of the planet. As you can look at these arrows represent the particles that are coming from the sun. And the length of the arrows, how long they are, determines the density of it, the power, the strength of the charged particles. So now we look at those arrows coming, they should hit Earth and go out, travel out in the solar system. But if you look at the backside of Earth right here, you look at these arrows, they are reversing back into the planet. Reversing back into the planet. And then you can see, how do we have a blue and black sky? I know people are starting to see that red sky at night. You're really starting to see it now at night, huh? Yeah. And when it's rising in the morning, but we already seen that. But at nighttime is even more. And in certain spots, it looks like it's getting even blacker or darker at night. But again, like I stated to you, this whole proxy war, you should know that it was going to start to kick off in October. I told you this is Red October. This is the race against the sun. The race against the sun. And it's going to be more that's going to kick off in Red October. This is only the beginning. Pause. And here we go. This is This is the GOES X-ray flux that monitors ionized particles, charged particles that are coming from the sun. Now, mind you, if you look, we had 1 M flare, 2 M flare, 3 M flares, 4 M flares, 5 M flares, 6 M flares. We had 6 M flares with a major X flare, right? But let me just show y'all this because this is what I wanted to point out. Granted, we got these and they're reporting that. These M flares and X flares, right? However, look at this right here. This is in reverse. This one is in reverse too. Those satellites, GOES 16 and GOES 18 satellite, they're designed only to monitor solar radiation. So this is in reverse. What is being picked up on the back side of the planet? This is in reverse. What is being picked up on the back side of the planet? Not just the front side, but the back side of the planet as well. What's being picked up, people? Huh? What's being picked up? And I already done plenty of video to show you what charged particles do with your DNA. Pause. And you look at these sunspots. These sunspots, this is the one region right here that releases that X flare, that strong X flare. That region right there was the one that released that strong X flare. However, all the rest of them come from these regions right here, the M flares. But don't worry, it's more coming right over here on this side. And it's one spotting, it's one active coming down here, but this is one definitely coming up here. And these are the problem. This is the problem that everyone is having. You can sit there and think that, oh, this is about democracy. No, it's not. This is a race against the sun. There is a group of people on this planet that shares 97%, I don't want to say share, that has 97% junk DNA. DNA that's not even active, that we're not using. And then there is a group of people on this planet that shares 100% of their DNA with animals. So who are the people that has junk DNA, and who are the people that have animal DNA? This is the problem. This is what this is why they don't want you to learn anatomy. Once you start to learn anatomy, all the things that's taking place, even the torrential storms that went down through North Carolina and the rest of those southern states, like I told you, no one is living comfortable no more. You would not be in fear. You wouldn't be like, oh, I need to move here, or I need to go here to try to escape the devastation. You can't escape the devastation because not the whole planet, this whole portion of the rim, our species, our race, we are in hell. We are literally mentally in hell. So how are you planning on escaping something? We would never escape this unless we were actually standing up for our children, our youth, our future generation. Pause.
Eating at work, decided to go with a whole steak. This is a ribeye, got nice fat. And this guy at my job was selling raw star thistle honey from the star thistle tree. And raw meat, you don't really need seasoning because you don't got to mask it like nasty cooked food. But you could use a little honey, a little sweetness. It makes it taste good. Now, don't use too much honey because it will alkalinize your gut. And you want it to be strong and acidic. An acidic gut is good for digesting meat. So don't do too much honey, but a little bit like that, real good. So tender. This ribeye is crazy tender. It's so good with a little bit of honey.
This is literally one of the most disturbing stories I've ever read. So these two were at a campground with their 2-month-old son, and a stranger that was drunk, a dude, approached them and said, hey, I'll give you a few cans of beer each if I can take your 2-month-old son overnight. And the parents took the beer and gave the kid over for the night, like renting their kid out for beer. The next day, the guy came back with the baby and offered them more beer and $1,000 to buy their infant child. And these two were like, bet. Now, this dude literally pulled out a full contract, a handwritten contract saying that he was going to buy their baby for like $1,000 and they could never contact him again legally, and they were no longer the parents. And they signed that thing, but somebody that was there thought this was just as disturbing as I do, and they ended up calling Child Protective Services.
Just so you know, right? If you think the recession is bad for us, it's even bad for them. The last recession, they sold their kids. Paul. The last recession, they sold their kids. This is only going to get worse. Red October, abundance.